We made it. We made it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Defending Super Bowl champions. Game 1 tonight going down at Lincoln Financial Field. All eyes will be on Philadelphia. You got the Today Show. You got every single network broadcasting outside Lincoln Financial Field. And, of course, coming up at 4 o'clock, we'll be doing the same right here on The Gambler, Green Legion Radio, an extended edition, 4 to 5:30 coming your way. But, ladies and gentlemen, let's not waste any time because as I fired up DraftKings Sportsbook up this morning, wow, there are so many wagers that we can go down, so many options available, and that's what DK does. That's why they're the best in the business. A ton to choose from. So I said it's a perfect day to reach out. And, of course, it is a Thursday. We get Julian Edlow from the DraftKings Network. He joins us every single Thursday for the past few seasons, and he will continue to do so throughout the course of this year. No better time than right now to have Julian Edlow join the show. Julian, how are we doing today, sir?
Great. We got NFL here. As usual, I got my butt handed to me in college football week 1. I never learn. Go half units. Don't pick so many sides. You know, I probably would have bet Clemson again. Looking back at it, I would have bet Clemson again. But go a little easier overall. We got Ohio State right, but not much after that. And now we get to do NFL with a pretty good college football week 2 slate on tap too.
You're the first person I heard say that.
They're not all going to be a top 10 game in every window like we got last week. I think this has some good ones.
All right, so good is all right. Maybe I bent that a little bit. Yes, I will say that every person I've spoken to about week 2 in college football, they're throwing up the question mark. There's a lot of coin flip games. Do you feel that way?
I still feel we have plenty more to learn. I don't feel comfortable saying I know what a team is really until October. Yeah, there's plenty of coin flip games, a handful of them that I'm on. And I don't know. I had a couple games circled before the season even began for week 1 that I had interest in for week 2. So maybe that's why I feel a little bit better or more excited than most for week 2. It's not week 1. It's not the same type of slate, but it's a pretty good one for early September, and in a week that, they're not going to make this slate bonkers because we got NFL week 1 going on Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Monday. This is the spot to ease up a little bit, but Michigan and Oklahoma is a big game on Saturday night. Iowa and Iowa State is always a good one. And there's a handful of other ones that I'm interested in as well.
We'll jab at that on the way out. I know that this is going to be primarily focused on the NFL. We're excited to have it back. I will tell you this much, though. Julian does an unbelievable job every single day with the DraftKings Network Daily Bets podcast. Look, iHeartRadio app. It has everything you need, including The Gambler. Make us a preset. You can go ahead and load up Julian's podcast that you can subscribe to, and it comes to your iHeart app daily. I saw you just had Johnny Avello on. Nice job there. I listened to the Mitzi from Barstool. Good conversation there. It is a perfect podcast if you're in the sports wagering world and you want to keep up to date with what's happening, because Julian does it better than most. Once again, you can find him over at the DK Network. With that, let's go ahead and jump into tonight's game, Julian. Let's do it. The NFL is back in our lives. Saw a little movement earlier today. Number came down to 7.5. Had me scratching my head. I'm like, money coming in on the Cowboys? Where are we at with that? And where are you at with that in mind? Where do you think this ends up at kick? Are you surprised that it came down to 7.5? Money coming in on the Cowboys? Is this a hot play? Is the fact that we're looking at 2 division rivals, Thursday Night Football to open up the season, too many points one way? Where do you stand on that? What do you think it will become game time?
Yeah, we're up from, when I tweeted it out this morning about 3 hours or so ago, just the line movement on the game and the splits, we were at 64% of the bets for 61% of the handle on Eagles laying the points. Now, that includes all bets that goes back to the opener of 7 and when it dipped to 6.5 at one point over the summer, briefly before it came back. Now we are 62% of the bets, 56% of the handle Eagles. So it's been some good handle to go from 39% handle on the game on Dallas to 44% over the course of 3 hours when this game has been on the board for months. Now, I'm not Johnny Avello. I don't have the dollar amount that's come in the last 3 hours, but I'm telling you the handle on Dallas over the last 3 hours getting the points has gone from 39% to 44%, encompassing all dollars over whatever. These came out in like May, so 4 months. So that's some money coming in on Dallas. And I can tell you why. It's, Dak getting 7 or more last 5 games. He's 4-1 ATS. I don't have the historical Super Bowl champ ATS in front of me, but it can be a letdown spot on Thursday night. We saw the Rams get demolished by the Bills. We saw Brady's Bucks team just barely squeak by Dallas, who probably should have won that game a few years back. This is historically a letdown spot. The real one here, and I put this out on Twitter, is the Week 1 divisional dogs. Week 1 divisional underdogs going back to 2014 are 37-15-1 against the spread. And I'll just throw another nugget in. It doesn't apply to this game, but it applies to 4. Last year, we had 2 division games week 1. We had like nothing. These are only week 1 divisional dogs where this applies. And it's 37-15-1 against the spread since 2014. 4 of the 8 dogs are home dogs. Remember, the Chargers aren't. That's in Brazil tomorrow. But Cleveland, Atlanta, Seattle, and Chicago are home dogs. Home underdogs in week 1 are 18-4 against the spread since 2012. But yeah, that divisional dog trend in week 1, there is something to it. It's really similar to college football week 1, where I'm like, man, we don't know anything. I spent all summer talking myself into Clemson, and then the game gets there and it's like, oh, LSU's pretty good. Well, is that surprising? No, it's LSU. So now we spend all summer talking ourselves into how good this Eagles team is. I think they lost a little bit, particularly on defense and in the secondary. You can speak better to that than I can. And Dallas has just been hearing it. And the move didn't come right off the Parsons trade, but shortly after. That defense has to be amped up to prove they can still do something. Dak is healthy. Lamb is a beast. You have George Pickens on the other side, their best number 2 wide receiver for Dallas in ages. No running game, really. That we'll see. But there's reasons to believe Dallas can keep it close. If you made me bet it, I would go the sharp side and take the 8.5 with Dallas, because I will step back and say, I don't know anything. And historically, getting this many points this early in the division, especially in this type of Thursday night game, means something. But I could be totally wrong. Dallas could still stink. The defense is an issue. They can't run the ball, and Philly just gets out with Saquon and the talent they have and dominates. We do not know, but I would lean to the sharper angle with Dallas now out to 8.5.
Do you think come game time that this could get to 9? Could it get to 9.5? If you had to guess, which way is this going come game time? Does it come down to 7.5, 8? Where are we at come kick?
I don't think we're going to see 7 again. I think 7 is gone. It could go 8, 7.5 again, because there is Dallas money coming in right now, but we already saw it do that and then ping back. So it's going to be back and forth. I don't think it's going to close 7.5. It probably closes right around where we are at 8.5. I don't totally get having it at 8.5. If I'm a bookmaker, I would probably rather have it on 9 so that people stop teasing the Eagles down to 2.5 with their favorite play on Sunday. So, like, again, I told you I like Dallas 8.5. I don't hate Philly minus 2.5 as a teaser leg. Like, I do think they should win. I don't know. We're gonna learn. We're gonna learn a lot again tonight. I have a prop I like a lot in this one, but sidewise, I'm staying away. I'm not gonna promise I won't get involved live. We'll see what it looks like, but I'm staying away pre-kick on a side.
You are a teaser, though. You are a big teaser guy, correct? So, do you have action on a teaser? Are you using the Eagles here?
I'm not. I used Denver when they were 7.5 down to 1.5, with Atlanta up to from 2.5 to 8.5. Now those both moved a point, but I don't mind Denver minus 2.5 with Atlanta plus 7.5. Atlanta is in that sharp home divisional dog role, and Denver might have the best defense in the NFL, and that's a really tough first start to ask Cam Ward to go out there and win a game. Just like the Bengals over the Pats last year, getting like 40% of survivor picks. Denver's going to be that team that gets about 40% of survivor picks. And I have 3, and I'm using 2 on Denver. This is a different game. This isn't Joe Burrow and the Bengals coming slow out of the gates like they do every year. This is a rookie quarterback going to Mile High on the road. I think Denver's going to control that game and get the win. I'm not laying the points. I'm not laying more than 2.5 in teaser legs, but it is a teaser and a survivor spot for me on Denver.
All right. Of course, we're all fired up. We got NFL back in our lives. Like you brought up, just with the pinging back and forth. Like this is the stuff that gets us going. Wake up. I've been just drawn to this number all week. It was a little bit moving back and forth. And as I said, this morning down to 7.5, which just was surprising to me to a point. But Dallas is going to fetch money. That number is going to be enticing for a lot of people out there. And then the history. I can't deny that. It's week 1. It's the NFL season opener. And, I'm not going to sit here and say that jitters will be happening, but you never know. There could be some nerves. Of course, the big day down there in South Philly with the banner. But all in all, the bread and butter is what I come back to for the Eagles. And let's talk a little bit about the game plan and the script, as they say here, Julian, and we'll get into your prop. I'm looking at the fact that the Eagles are going to be able to run the football. They get Landon Dickerson back in there, we thought he was going to be done for a few weeks, whatever it may be, comes back from surgery. Starting line's going to be back in there. Saquon Barkley, you know what Jalen Hurts is capable of. And I'm looking at the number on DK with the touchdown score, and I'm surprised by this. Just a quick little side note on this, and that just jumped up to minus 190. Are you surprised that Saquon is more of a favorite to score a touchdown, minus 190 over Jalen Hurts at minus 150? I thought that should be flip-flopped, and because maybe I'm reading too much into this, I think Saquon eats tonight. I don't think the Cowboys are going to be able to stop him. Maybe the odds makers agree with me on that, but I just thought that was very intriguing, something interesting to me that Jalen Hurts and Saquon, I thought, should be flipped on anytime touchdown numbers. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, once you get down there on the goal line, it's going to Hurts. But I think at the same time, it's just as likely Saquon rips one off, right? And so another reason is maybe they would be priced more equally on an opener, but Saquon has taken the most money. Saquon's the most bet guy for everything. 1 touchdown, 2 touchdowns, first touchdown, all of it. So that's the handle's gonna move it. Like you said, it just pinged up again. It was 180. It was much shorter than that, and now it went from 180 to 190. Yeah, it's Thursday Night Football, NFL Week 1. Everybody wants to get, whether it's as a single wager, a same game parlay, whatever. Everybody's betting this game, and they're piling on Saquon.
No, that's understood. And, Saquon's world that we're living in, he's got the documentary coming out. I don't know if you're seeing the national stuff, but he's got all these local endorsements around here and international too, with Little Caesars, all that. So nobody's star is shining brighter than Saquon Barkley. And I think that continues tonight. I'm looking at him. The one prop that I like, Julian, there's 2 from a team total. I love the fact that the Eagles are going to go over 28.5. I'll get your thoughts on that one. I do think that they hit the ground running and score points in this game. And also Saquon, I think he breaks the 100-yard mark as he did the last time he faced the Cowboys last year when he went for $167. Now, a little bit different ball game. He was obviously chasing the title there, but I just feel like he's going to break one. He's going to have some 30-yard scamper, and it's just going to add up at the end. He's going to get over 100 yards, and it's plus money. It's plus 105 on DK. So I'm taking a stab at that. Anything you like from the team total or Saquon Barkley over rushing yards?
The game's ticked up a point, but threw a key number from 46.5 to 47.5. So bettors are taking the over, as they usually do. But yeah, Philly should score against Dallas. If this is one that Dallas pulls out or makes a game of, I don't think it's going to be because it's a grinder. It's probably because Dallas is able to put up points and keep up with Philly a little bit. So, and that, in terms of your bet, you kind of want Dallas doing okay, not getting shut out. Like last year, they scored 7 and 6 points in the 2 games. Of course, Dak and other guys didn't play in them. Those were, you can kind of throw those out. At 27.5 would feel nicer, but it ticked up a point and it's 28.5. You can make a much worse same game parlay than Eagles over 27.5 with Saquon to run for 100 yards. It is a good matchup for him. Dallas's defense is going to be angry with a lot to prove, but they also just aren't that good. So they're probably going to give some big plays up.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't think the Cowboys are going to be all that good this year. And maybe they'll be Cincinnati light. And what I mean by that is no defense and tossing it. But I'm finding that to be a stretch. Like, is Dak
I think Burrow and Dak are both solid bets and at very different numbers to lead the NFL in passing yards. If either of them stays healthy, some of the worst defenses in the NFL with good quarterback play, good receiver play, potentially playing from behind a lot. Burrow and Dak are two guys that are very live to lead the league in passing yards.
All right. I might even sprinkle a little bit on Will Shipley. If it gets ugly, Will Shipley out of the backfield, anytime touchdown.
So this is a popular one to a degree, not Saquon popular, but Will Shipley anytime touchdown is getting bet at DK Sportsbook, as is everybody wants to bet Saquon first touchdown score. Will Shipley last touchdown score is getting bet. If you're going to bet him to score, it's going to be late, right? Maybe you make it the last one. I think that was like 28-1 range. If you want to get nuts here.
Well, I do. And
of course you do.
Last touchdown score plus 2,000. Thank you, Julian. Definitely putting that.
That's in. Down. That was a longer price, but like I told you, people are betting that. That's a game script play. That's one that you should probably same game parlay with, like Eagles team total over 27.5. Because if Will Shipley's scoring the last touchdown, Philly's got a bunch of points and they're up more than 7 at that point.
See how his brain works?
Or you do it with the Philly spread, or like Philly minus 9.5 and Will Shipley last touchdown. Because if Will Shipley's not scoring the game-winning touchdown in like a tied game or a 3-point game or something.
True. Unless a disaster happens, which I'm not going to say out loud. Don't even say it. Don't even say it. Julian, you're the best. Great stuff. Yeah, look, I'm glad we stumbled into that. I did it in a joking manner with Will Shipley, but I was going to have a little sprinkle on him to score a touchdown. I'm glad that we discussed that because the last touchdown is a good angle with that. All right, to you, what's your favorite prop in tonight's game?
Dak Prescott, 250 plus passing yards. Like I said, I don't want to pick a side in this game, but I think almost every game script includes production from Dak. If Dallas does stick around in this game and is productive, it's because they're having success passing the ball with Dak and Pickens and Lamb. It's not like they're going to come unleash some Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams rushing attack on the Eagles. That's not going to go that way. So if Dallas has success and makes this a game, it's through the air. If the Eagles, public favorite, does wind up running away with the game, well, you're going to be slinging it to try and catch up in the fourth quarter, and there's going to be yards to be had there. So I just see a lot of ways this goes, that Dallas is going to be passing the ball and either having success in a tight game or having moderate success and then finding a lot of cushion late in a game that is not close. And even if, let's say Dallas, I know you guys don't want to hear this, let's say Dallas is up 10 points late in the third quarter. That's probably because they've ripped off some huge plays through the air and are scoring points. Like, any way you spin it, I think that Dak's going to have production. I know this Eagles secondary defense is really good, but I think they lost some pieces and are not as good as the Super Bowl team. And through that playoff run, Stafford went over 300 at home in a game that saw snow on the ground. You guys blew Washington and Kansas City to smithereens. Jaden Daniels and Patrick Mahomes both top 250 passing yards in those games, working their way back into it. Dak didn't play the Eagles last year, but he's gone for 250 plus the last 4 times he's played them, averaging just under 322 passing yards in those 4 games. Dak 250 plus is my favorite play tonight.
And favorite play this weekend, according to DK Network. You're right up here. So at 1.5 units as far as Dak Prescott going over that number there.
Units will be added, sir. But
okay.
as of now, I have the most on Dak.
Right. Understood. All right. To put a bow on Thursday Night Football, anything that you that you stumbled across from Johnny Avello, or anything that you were able to dig up in your research as far as tonight's game?
Not Thursday night wise. Dak is a very popular prop. Everything Saquon is a popular prop, and they also are betting CeeDee Lamb and Pickens. So a lot of stuff on the Dallas side, maybe even more so prop wise than the Philly side. Although Saquon's the big one, he's getting all the handle.
It's just like last year. As I was looking at it with the receivers, although Devontae does well, as far as scoring touchdowns in division. That number was out there on the timeline. Mark Henry Jr., our host here on the station, had that. I forget what exactly was, but it was pretty lopsided. So I think a lot of people are starting to lean that way, but it's tough. You sit there. It's like you could talk yourself into AJ. You could talk yourself into Devonta. You could talk yourself into Goddard to a point. But all in all, it's just, whenever I decide to go that route by deciding who's going to score a touchdown for the Eagles wide receiver wise, I always pick the wrong guy. So I try to stay away from that. We're going to stick to safe stuff, and that's Saquon Barkley as far as rushing yards is concerned, and Will Shipley. All right, to Friday night. Let's head to Brazil. Your thoughts on this one? Because, man, first of all, it rubs me the wrong way that this is a division game being played out of country. And maybe I shouldn't look at it like that because the Chargers don't exactly have a home field advantage, so there might actually be a better fan base for them down there in Brazil. But it is a tough spot. Nonetheless, though, the Chiefs are 3-point favorites, 46.5 right now on DK. Tomorrow night down in Brazil. Anything for you, sir?
Yeah, this has been all Kansas City money for the most part on DraftKings. When it did dip below 3, it got back to that. And it could keep going. It could be 3.5. People like betting on the Chiefs. I don't really have an opinion on the side. That we know how fortunate the Chiefs were all season until they ran into the Eagles, ripping off all those wins in close games, getting calls. They've also dominated the Chargers, though, historically. In Brazil, weird game. I'm not going to take a side. But Omarion Hampton, rookie running back from UNC, is going to be the starter for the Chargers. We don't know how much Najee Harris is going to play after the fireworks incident, but all reports from the Chargers are that Hampton is the hardest player to tackle that some of these Chargers defenders have been going up against in camp. I think he only got 4 carries in the preseason. So they want to use him and they want to feature him, and he is fresh. If we expect the Chiefs to take a little bit of a step back, pretty modest prop, 47.5 yards up to 49.5. I will take Omarion Hampton over 49.5 rushing yards on Friday night.
Yeah, that's a low number. And plus 155 for him to find the end zone. That's a nice little payday for the people that want to believe in Hampton scoring the touchdown there. So we'll see what happens. Again, that's going down tomorrow night. Yeah, I'll have a hard time picking against the Chiefs, but all in all, this might be a stay away just from the simple fact it's being played in Brazil. Although the Eagles opened up last year against the Packers, it was a really good football game. The one thing I do remember is that field was very, very slick.
Yeah, Love got hurt in that game. Yep. Yeah, that was a good game. It came down to the wire. I had the Packers in that one and didn't work out for me, nor did my opinion on the Eagles all season until I finally backed them in the Super Bowl.
There you go. Nice work. Better late than never, as they say. Julian,
I was the last one to the party, literally.
All right. So with week 1, this is popular. We've been doing this a long time now. Everybody is trying to find those money line dogs. They want to take the underdogs on the money line, parlay them together. Not to say that that's not going to work out. Good luck. Take a shot with anything in sports gambling. I don't care what the week is. And I want to see all those big tickets on the timeline. Let's go. Everyone's going to be flashing their wins with the DraftKings slips a little bit later. It's just great to have football back in our lives. But if there is an angle to that, what is your take as far as wagering on money line dogs early in week 1, maybe week 2, and hoping for one of those upsets? Because there are people out there pitching the idea that we're still learning about these teams and anything is possible. Is there a dog that you have your eye on potentially to pull off the upset and win outright?
No, nobody that you're going to count as a real dog, but technically getting 1.5 or so. There are some teams that I'm interested in, but that just, I would feel cheap counting those. I'm intrigued by the Giants. I think they might not be that bad, and that's a divisional game where maybe you catch a hyped Washington team off guard. Ultimately, I'm not even taking the Giants +6, so I'm not going to recommend them on the money line, but it would not surprise me to see the Giants in that game. The dogs that I have bet is what I'll give you here, just so I can have some kind of answer. And again, okay. Cleveland's maybe the most intriguing one. Nobody wants to bet Cleveland, but we know the Bengals let down every single week 1. If you follow the week 1 trends, division dog, and this is one of the home ones that are 18-4 ATS since 2012 in week 1. You're supposed to bet Cleveland. Now I haven't bet Cleveland. I'm not telling you got to do it. The two that I've bet, Atlanta is catching 1.5 home dog, does fit that same trend, hosting Tampa Bay. I think Atlanta is going to be really good with Penix in the mix this season. They got drafted a couple of defenders early. And Miami catching 1.5 in Indy. I think they go off the favorite. I don't want any part of Danny Dimes and that defense and that coaching staff. And people are down on Miami. If there's a time you want to get them, it's early and healthy. Tua's healthy. Tyreek's healthy. Waddle's healthy. Achane isn't fully healthy, but he's going to play. But that offense indoors, with its health, like this is when you want to back them. So Miami and Atlanta are the two dogs, even though you're getting 1.5. Those are the two dogs I'm interested in week 1.
Hey, they're still barking. That's all that matters. And yes, I am with you on the Miami perspective where it's like, look, we know what they are in that cold weather late in the year against tough defenses. Indy is not that. So I think that the Dolphins are a good look. I also do like the Jags this week. Anything for you on the Jacksonville Jags? I know they're favored against the Panthers there, but there are some people trying to build up the hype for the Panthers. Any take on that game? And am I off my rocker taking Duval in game 1 here?
I don't think you're off your rocker, but I lean Carolina with it at 3.5. A lot of hype on Jacksonville's offense too. I think Carolina is going to be improved, but ultimately this isn't one that I'm fully going to get there on. I don't mind teasing Carolina up to just hang around in this one, but I lean Carolina getting the 3.5. I think Bryce Young can look pretty good against Jacksonville's defense. But again, the Jacksonville's got the same hype offensively with Liam Cohen, so I'm probably just gonna see how that one looks.
All right, quick ones for the NFL. We'll wrap up here. Get over to college real quick. But Ravens Bills Sunday night 1.5 for the Ravens on the road in Buffalo. Your thoughts?
I don't have many thoughts. I could see the Ravens bouncing back for that tough playoff loss, but they lose games early in the season too. They started 0-2 last year.
True.
Buffalo, it's not like, Baltimore's mad about how that one ended, but Buffalo's season ended how it always did, typically at the hands of Patrick Mahomes in a, heartbreaking playoff loss. So they're going to be pissed off too. Not a good feel for that one, but we'll see come Sunday night.
And I think you already told me 2 weeks ago that you liked the Vikings in that Monday Night Football game. 1.5. Anything as far as late for you in Monday Night Football, Bears and Vikings?
I do kind of like the Vikings, and I like their outlook for the season. I think O'Connell can be a good coach for J.J. McCarthy, just like what he did with Darnold. And I really like the defense, but now we're going against that divisional dogs trend, and it's a divisional home dog in Chicago where I'm like, and now I'm starting to talk myself into both sides of this one. I think the offense for Chicago can be okay. I don't know. This is going to be a Monday night decision for me. This might be a rare flip-flop for me, which there's nothing that makes you feel worse about yourself than losing a flip-flop when you go over to the other side.
It happened to me with Notre Dame and Miami. Love Miami all the way up until the day of. And it's just like, it's the weather. It's the defense. And the next thing you know, Notre Dame loses the game. Oh, yeah, exactly. All right. Let's get on over to college. Enough of the NFL. Real quick, hit us with a play or two that you have your eye on for this weekend in college football, if you would not mind.
Yeah, we'll start with the big one. I've been talking about Oklahoma, Michigan since before the season when DraftKings opened it. Oklahoma laying 1.5, minus 130 money line. I have some look ahead in my pocket at a good number. But now we're here, and it touched 6. It's down to 4.5. It's Oklahoma at 4.5 or pass for me. You can get plus money on the double result. I like Oklahoma to get out to a lead early. Underwood in his first start on the road. You're going Saturday night at a really good Oklahoma D. Tough spot for a freshman quarterback. One of Michigan's best pass rushers got called for a targeting against New Mexico. Only a 34-17 win against New Mexico. Didn't look that great. So he's going to miss the first half. So that helps Oklahoma get off to a better start and then go out and win the game. So Oklahoma double result for me in that big one. BC's quarterback got hurt. Probably is going to play, but shoulder injury. They're at Michigan State on the Saturday night NBC game. Michigan State went to BC last year for the red bandana game. If you don't know what that is, it's to honor one of the former students who saved a lot of lives and lost his life in 9/11. Big atmosphere here. I've been to it before. Big atmosphere here in the Boston area for a college football game, which is rare. And BC ultimately won, but did not cover. Here's the revenge spot for Saturday night at home for Michigan State. Big coaching advantage. Jonathan Smith. Kicking myself I didn't get 2.5. I played it at 3.5. Now it's 4.5. I'll still give it at Michigan State laying 4.5. And Iowa is my other favorite bet. Iowa State beats K-State in that international game. K-State comes home and looks awful. I think K-State was awful against Iowa State, so I don't give them much credit for that one. And then Iowa State beat nothing in their return home. So now this is like the double hangover spot of you've already played 2 games, you've traveled internationally. I know you're at home, but Iowa's coming in, and Iowa's won its last 6 trips to Ames. And last year, I was enjoying a lovely day over at Circa Sportsbook in Las Vegas, sipping on a beer, counting my money for my Iowa moneyline ticket against Iowa State up big at halftime. They blew it. Iowa State came back and won that game, ruined my Saturday afternoon. And now I think Iowa's going to go in there and pay them back for last season. More prepared. They've been home. They didn't have to show anything in their week 1 win. So I think Iowa's going to know a lot more about Iowa State. Give me Iowa plus 3.5.
Yeah, it's up to 3.5 now. Great stuff, man. Across the board, both NFL and college football. Julian Edlow, find him on socials, Edlow. He's got the podcast that comes out daily. This is a must listen if you are in the world of sports gambling, fantasy, all of the above, even if you're just a fan of ball. Trust me, it's a very quick and fun listen that you get educated, Julian. You're giving us the right information.
Try to.
Nice work across the board on that one. All right. And as always, you can find Julian at the DraftKings Network. That's dknetwork.com. Check him out there. Of course, our own Sean Bernard helping out as well. Continued success, sir. Good luck on all of those plays, including tonight. Hopefully everything we broke down in Thursday Night Football happens, and we'll be breaking it all down next week. But thank you for giving us 35 minutes here today, man. Can't thank you enough.
Always a pleasure. Good luck and enjoy the games this weekend, everybody.
Mom, he didn't like my bucket hat. Hey, man, when they win tonight and we cash into Will Shipley, last touchdown scorer with the same game parlay, I'll send you one of these, all right?
Will Shipley would be a good one.
Julian, you're the best. I'll hit you up next week, man.
All right, looking forward to it.
There he is, Julian Edlow on the Gambler stream. Once again, we are live coming up here at 4 o'clock from Stateside Live. I've said it twice now today. Xfinity Live, no more. It is Stateside Live. I will be heading down there shortly, and can't wait to see what that's all about. But we're going to be rocking out with the Green Legion crew from 4 to 5:30. iHeartRadio is in the building, including Buster. He is doing his show from right outside 1100 Social with the Green Legion tailgate. There's so much going on down there. So stop on down, say what's up if you're in the area. But folks, Thursday Night Football, we are here. Season opener, Eagles opener, dropping the banner. Love to get you involved with the conversation at Fox PHL Gambler, at Fox PHL Gambler. So much going on. Of course, college football has the day off. We do have games tomorrow. I do want to point this out, though, if you would not mind. Hang with me here. Saturday, Ryan Beef Coyle and myself will be live at 3:30. 3:30 to 5:30 with the College Football Rundown Show. We are going to be live every Saturday right here in studio, most of the time following Villanova, which is going to be about 6 o'clock every Saturday. This Saturday, though, we have to go before Villanova because Nova kicks off against Colgate to open up their season at 6 p.m. So we're going at 3:30. We'll be, of course, breaking down what took place at noon, previewing some of the games coming up later in the evening, including an Oklahoma and Michigan game that Julian was just breaking down himself. So trust me, it's going to be 2 hours, all things college football coming your way on Saturday. Then on Sunday, that's not all. Coming your way, countdown to payout, myself and Roy Burton, 11 to 1, countdown to payout before the NFL kicks at 1 o'clock. I can't wait. 2 years ago, we did the show. It was just a great spot to be in. Speaking as far as selfishly for myself here, I was better in that moment, handicapping better. Of course, getting that last minute information is more important than ever, unless you placed your wager already. But for the folks that are waiting and seeing what happens, whether it's, the conditions out there, weather having an impact, injuries, so on and so forth, that is the show for you. 11-1, countdown to payout. Myself, Roy Burton, and the Gambler Gang will be involved. We're going to have a ton of plays to be discussing, segments, great breakdowns across the board, and some special guests that will be joining us as well. That's every Sunday starting this Sunday. We rolled out a new show with Natalie Eganoff. That's not starting till the following week, where the Eagles are back in action on Sundays. It's breakfast before the birds. So Sunday, we have you covered right here on The Gambler. So all you got to do is download the iHeartRadio app if you haven't already. Make sure you place The Gambler as a preset. It's real easy, so cool to do. The app has taken on a new life since they've added that element to their repertoire for this upcoming season. So just add us to the preset on the iHeartRadio app. It works just like you're scanning channels in your car as far as on the FM dial. Here's what I do know, though, folks. After record-breaking attendance in Philly, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship debuts at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey on Saturday, October 4th. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Avoid the sellout. You can get tickets now at bkfc.com. The Bare Knuckle Fighting with Eddie Alvarez in Philadelphia from a couple months ago, when Eddie came in studio, was insane. A lot of juice in the building. Fans were just walking out of there so happy and thrilled that they made the decision to go check out some fighting going down at what was known as the Wells Fargo Center when it was here. The bkfc.com website is where you get your tickets. And I'm telling you, if you haven't made an event or checked this out at all, do yourself a favor. It's next level. It's not like the UFC. It's even more to the point. And that's what we like. When they were punching each other, it made a sound like you never heard before. Of course, it's all in the title, Bare Knuckle. Nothing better than that. Check them out online at bkfc.com. It's going down once again on October 4th up there at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. Those fans are in for a treat, and you could be as well. So get on out there. Once again, bkfc.com. All right, the Gambler rolling on here. If you missed anything, you can check out all of our podcasts on our website at foxphlgambler.com. As I said, new shows on Saturday, new shows on Sunday. However, I don't want to dismiss the fact that we do have Mike Kern and Dick Girardi every Saturday from Park Sportsbook Casino at 9 a.m. to 11, followed by Mark Henry Jr. So we have already been packing a punch in the mornings. Now Beef and I are going to be following Villanova football. So it's going to be a full day of programming right here on The Gambler every Saturday and then Sunday, getting you ready for, of course, NFL kicks at 1 o'clock. We made it. We're here. Let's have some fun. And oh, by the way, it all starts tonight with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys at Lincoln Financial Field. Get involved in the conversation at Fox PHL Gambler. I want to hear from you. Is there a prop that you like on DraftKings Sportsbook? You like a side? Are you going to take the points with the Cowboys? No hate. No hate. All I want to do is win. And if you tell me that the Eagles are going to win by 6-7 points and not cover the number, I'm not here to argue. Good luck on your play. Saquon Barkley over 100. Eagles topping over 28.5. Let's have a day, people. Oh, and Will Shipley's last touchdown in the game, plus 2,000. Got to have that. Got to have that Shipley play here in week 1. Good luck on all those plays. Like I said, 4 o'clock, Green Legion Radio live from Stateside Live. More after this.
Let's go. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles.